Hi, welcome to Elevation, a Stairway to Recovery podcast. My name is Ricky.
My name is Patrick.
And I'm Quetcy, better known as Pepsi.
Today we will be talking with Quetcy, just on her early life and what brought her here today. So how are you?
I'm good. It's a little
Awesome.
chilly outside, but yeah, it's been a good day so far, productive and good.
Thank you for showing up on the show.
Thank you.
We appreciate
Appreciate
that. I know you got a busy schedule because you're an outreach coordinator too, right?
Yes, I actually just got through doing a talk over at High Point. I go over there on Mondays, so yeah, kind of just move on over. But no, it's enjoyable. Makes my day go good. It makes my day go quickly.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about your childhood, kind of upbringing, and how that was like?
Well, I grew up in Cambridge, Mass. I grew up in a very tight-knit community where we didn't have a lot, but you know, when you're a kid, you don't need much, you know. The community I grew up in was the type of community that everybody looked out for each other, where, like, say, if you were a kid and were getting into trouble, you know, your neighbor caught you at it. Your neighbor would grab you by the ear and give you the ear twist. And then after your neighbor was done with you, she'd take you over to your mom, and then your mom would whoop you behind. And then when dad came home, you got a third one. So it was that type of community where it was a village. You know what I mean? We all looked out. When we were living there, like I said, it was type of everybody. We were happy. I was very loved, very well cared for. Then our neighborhood started getting kind of bad. And so my dad at the time, you know, he'd had a good job. The company ended up moving. He was sick of it, so he did what he had to do, stashed aside some money and bought a house here in Brockton. So I've been out here since I was 13. And
Brocktonian.
yeah. I've been out here for years. I've watched it change. I've watched it grow. I've watched the good. I've watched the bad. But I remember coming here as a kid, and it was almost like a culture shock for me. You know what I mean? Because I went from this very tight-knit, protective community where everybody knew me, everybody knew my dad, everybody knew our family, to here where I was basically, you could say, thrown to the wolves. You know, it was like,
Sink or
that's
swim
it.
kind of thing?
That's it, because I was, 13, just coming into my own. You know, when I was growing up, nobody really noticed me. I was the tomboy of the bunch, and I was more, sheltered, the class nerd. And then coming out here, it's like, fresh meat. You know? So yeah, it was definitely different coming in here. But like I said, it wasn't bad. I was a bit of a hard-headed kid, and I didn't always, like a lot of kids, like a lot of teens, don't want to listen to their parents. Definitely march to the beat of my own drum, much to the dismay of my parents. And did my thing, but I can't complain. I had a decent upbringing. Left home when I was 20 because I was expecting my first child. And like I said, the way we were raised, old school Latino, that's a no-no. So as soon as as soon as they found out, because I kept it as quiet as I could for the longest, it was like, out of here. And that was that.
So what was your experience with substance use or alcohol growing up?
Well, first off, like I said, I saw a lot when I was younger, the communities we lived in and stuff. I mean, you saw a little hustle and bustle, though when you're younger and you're innocent, you don't really realize as much of what's going on. And what you know about substance abuse was more of what you saw on TV and what the adults. I grew up in the say no to drugs era.
Yes.
And it was tough because I had family that hustled, that did their thing. So it wasn't a thing, but it bothered me, because you're a kid and you're being told on one end, that's bad and you shouldn't be doing that. But then on the other hand, and you have family and people that you know that you love that do that kind, that are trying to survive. And so it's like, but you know, my daddy or my uncle, this person, they're not bad people. That's, you know, they're my family. I love them. And they've never done me wrong. So how could I look at it like that? So my experience with it wasn't, I was pretty naive to a lot. Even like through my last relationship where I was with my son's father, that's where things kind of took a turn. He had mental health issues, and unbeknownst to me at the time, was having issues with pills and certain things, painkillers, back in that time. And I wasn't aware. You know, we had split up because he could get a bit abusive, had a wonderful heart, good person. And we became best friends after that. But then, like I said, it was just a downhill spiral for him where I heard things but never got to, because he never let me see him like that. It took a huge toll, especially on my son, because it was his dad, and their relationship suffered till years later when my son hit 18. And then that's when I really got a good taste of just how painful it can be, because I got a call on Father's Day a few years back saying that my son's father had passed away. He took his life. He had a mental health disorder along with his addiction, and decided he couldn't take it anymore and took his life. His partner at the time, the female that he was with, was aware, supposedly, because he had told her what he was going to do, and she left him there to die.
She was aware of what he was going to do,
Yes.
and she did nothing to stop it.
No, he told her. I don't know if it wasn't that she didn't take it seriously, but then when he started ODing, she took off. She ran away, which is, I guess, something that's the norm.
I was gonna say, not that it makes it right or anything, but it is, like you said, part of the norm where people, because they feel that they might get in trouble, so they don't want to report it because there might be some actions on them.
Right, on them.
Good point.
Yeah, so she was scared, and she took off. And that was, it was traumatic. The icing on the cake was where, by that time, I had been in a serious relationship for about 4 or 5 years by that time, and I came to find out that the person I had been dating, that I was engaged to, you know, who had been known back in the days, you could call her OG, you know, very well known, did time. But when we had been together, like I said, we were doing great. We're looking to start shopping for a house, and his behavior changed erratically. And me, being the jealous person I am, you know, I'm thinking he's having an affair with a woman, and turned out it was worse than that. He became an addict.
So he was having an affair with a substance.
Yes,
though.
with a substance. And that was even worse because all the stuff that came along with it was there. But the disorder itself was something that changed me, because I had never dealt firsthand like that with somebody that was really going through it. And on top of that, somebody that I loved. We were engaged. We were about to buy a house. We had money put away. I took care of the house. You know, we paid rent. I worked. I did everything I thought I was supposed to do. Yeah. And here I am engaged to this man, and he became a stranger. He became a different person.
That's not unusual in a substance use disorder anyway, because we have mask.
Right.
Right? And we conceal that substance use disorder, you know, from our family and stuff like that. And we put that mask on.
Right.
And when that mask actually comes off, it usually takes something really, really bad to happen before that mask comes off, then it all blows up.
Right. And like I said, myself, I was naive to a lot. So I mistook the behaviors for other things
which would be normal.
Right, till he admitted it to me.
Yeah.
And then me, myself, where I had never done any kind of drug, pills, like that was stuff, like I said, I never touched any of it. So I couldn't understand the addiction.
Right.
I couldn't understand the disease. So I treated it more like it was about me. And, you know, what was wrong with me? Why does my man prefer to go get high. We had a nice apartment. He would pay his rent, you know. He'd
Right.
pay the rent on the first of the month when he got that check, and then he'd be gone.
Right.
And I couldn't get it because I'm like, you would rather be in a trap house. You would rather be out in the streets, in the cold or in the heat or whatever. When we have an apartment, I cook for you, I clean, I take care of you.
Right.
You know, I'm a good woman.
Right.
You know,
I
I do
believe
what
that.
I gotta do. And here he is out and running in the streets. And the more, you know, I fought with him, of course, you know, what's the first thing I'm doing is I'm like, what the hell? And I'm down. And so what's the first thing he's gonna do?
Go right back out. And,
See ya.
Yay!
Well, guess what? It's your fault. Oh, you're making me want to get high, or you're fighting with me, so I'm leaving. I can't take it. And so I'm here.
But that was
feeling
an
guilty.
excuse just to go
It was
get high.
just an excuse, but I didn't know how to deal with that.
Yeah.
So I went from fighting with him to pleading and crying to heading out into the streets to look for him. You know, I'd go out there with mace and
So let me ask you this, right? With that,
right.
there's a good amount of people, when they find out somebody has a substance use disorder, they will run.
Right.
They say, that's not for me, I can't deal with that.
Right.
Was there a defining moment that guided you to say, I want to be an ally, I want to stay with this person regardless of what is going on, and I want to help them? Was there a moment for that, or did you just naturally, I mean, out of, you know, love and compassion for the person?
Well, like I said, I loved them. My family didn't get it, right? When they saw how sickly and depressed I was, because I wasn't eating right, I was stressing all the time. I got down to about 90 pounds. I was skinny. And so everybody basically was just leave. I couldn't, right? It got to where finally, because of his behaviors, I lost everything. We lost our apartment. Because, of course, you know, the landlady found out about what he was doing. He got arrested. He got locked up. And so here I am. I have nothing. I lost everything. All I had was my little hoopty to sleep in. And
You had your child at that time, too?
I had the kids, but the kids didn't even want to deal with me. They were grown. Imagine how my son felt.
Yeah.
You know, my dad died from that crap, and now you're with a whole nother crap. Like the stuff he would say to me.
Right.
And he couldn't understand. I said, I can't. We're engaged. I love this man. So what happened was, after he did a few months' time in prison, he did some jail time. He came out. I had found a little spot to rent and was still trying to be there for him. So we went to a job fair, and it was a Corey-friendly job fair over at Massasoit, and that's where I met Todd. It's where I met the director of the center. And he was telling me about this place, Stairway, and how it's, you know, and I was like, where's this? I lived in Brockton since I was 13. I ain't heard of this place. He's like, it's been in existence for 16, 15 years, whatever. And I'm like, what? And so he was telling me about it, and I was just there to help my man.
Yep.
But I said, well, maybe I can get some information and get something out of this to help him. That was where my brain was at. I had a job. I wasn't trying to, but at that point, like I said, I was existing. I was just barely alive.
Going through the motions?
I was going through the motions every day. And so he said, look, I think this position will be amazing for you. It's an outreach coordinator, and this is what they do, and you meet people where they are. And I had told him my story, so I went in for an interview, and it went great. And he said, I think you'd be perfect for this, so I think you should try. We have a second interview process that you got to go through. And
I remember this. I was part of
so
it.
I'm thinking, you know, that when I'm going in for the interview, I'm thinking I'm gonna, you know, go see what I like to call bougies, the big wigs, the suits, you know, and me any excuse to dress up. You guys already know.
Yeah.
So, you know, I came in my little heels, click, 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 and my resume, and I'm like, okay, I got this, because I'm thinking, you know, I'm gonna go in front of directors. And he had made me aware of the fact that, you know, that he was just there to oversee that the members run everything. What brought that point home to me was the fact that when I go into the back room for my second interview, Instead, I see a room full of members. I see you.
Yep.
I see
I remember
people
that.
that sleep outside, people from under the bridge, people that are struggling, members of the center. And I was like, whoa, what's going on? And I said, they're doing your interview.
Yes,
and
we
so
were.
you guys interviewed me for a good half hour, 45 minutes, and grilled me. And then I'm asked to leave the room, and I'm like, wait, what's going on? And he's like, they have to take a vote. I said, whoa, wait a minute. They're gonna decide whether I can work here?
Absolutely.
Yeah. You know?
That's the key
It's
to a peer-to-peer. Yeah,
to
peer-to-peer
just how
centers.
important. You know, you hear all the time, oh yeah, our clients or the people we serve are the most important, but you don't see that. So to know that you guys held that in your hands, you held my life in your hands, and so the fact that you guys voted me there. Yes. You know, needless to say, I got the position, but I tell people all the time, the fact that you guys, knowing that I'm just an ally, knowing that I've never had a disorder, but knowing the pain that I went through, the fact that you guys entrusted me to that meant everything to me. And literally, I say that the center, this community, the people that I try to help saved my life, because at that point I just didn't care anymore. I thought about taking my life, you know, sitting in that car by myself, blankets over the windows, terrified. You know, I thought about picking up. I said, you know, I might as well just deaden the pain, or maybe it'll give me something in common with my man. Maybe I can get my man back, you know? And so I thought about picking up. I thought about taking my life. I thought about ending it all. But the center gave me a safe place, a place where I could go, where after everyone turned their back on me, my family, my kids, my friends, the community there, you guys were the ones that embraced me. Instead of me curling up in a ball and crying at home and not eating, and you know, I'd come into the center and it's, hey fam, how you doing? Hey Pepsi, you all right? And always with a positive word or a joke or a smile. And when you see people struggling that way and going through what they're going through, it almost made me ashamed of myself. I said, I'm sitting here boo-hooing and worrying about this, that, and the other, instead of counting my blessings. And when I watch people that struggle, that are going through it, that don't have a place to live, that are fighting with their disorder, that are fighting to survive just one day at a time, a minute at a time.
Absolutely.
How can you help but not want to help? How can you feel bad when you're in a place with such positivity? And the fact that you guys were able to do that for me, you're my family. That center, this community, it's my home. And the center has become my home. And you guys are my family.
That's awesome.
Oh, you're definitely an asset to the staff. I mean, we got some amazing staff at Stairway. You got to come down and check it out. Ricky's one of our staff.
Yep.
Petsy's one of our staff. We got Todd, Mark. We got Loretta, Ginger. We got Hilda. I mean, oh my God. Just the staff alone has, a lot of our staff have actually lived through substance use disorder. A lot of our staff are allies because they've seen it on the outside. It's an amazing thing. So your job, what do you do?
I meet people where they're at. Not only do I try to bring resources and information into the center, I bring, most importantly, the information out. There are a lot of people, like I said, even myself, when I was going through my struggle, I wish to God I'd found the center sooner even, you know. I wish I'd known about the center when my son's father was going through his struggle before he passed on. So what I do is I go meet people where they're at. You can't get information out to people. It's not going to work if I'm sitting there at a desk trying to look cute all day. It's fun to be able to dress up and look nice and do all that, but you have to get out because you have people that are out there struggling, and the last thing on their mind is places like the center or certain things. They're worried about where their next meal's coming from, where they're going to sleep next. who to avoid, there's trying to survive. So what I do is I go out to different places. I go into the shelters. I go, to places like High Point, the detoxes. And most importantly, now, instead of going in certain places because I'm looking for him, I go into those places because I'm trying to help. So you'll see me in the parks. You'll see me under the bridge. And I don't go over there to preach to anybody either. It's hard sometimes when you're trying to help and people are struggling. But what I do make sure to let people know is that there are people that care, that I'm one of those people, and that I'm not there to preach, but just to let them know that there are places that help is available, that it's there, and the center is one of those spots where they can come in and reach out for help, And I tell people I can preach about this all day and give them all the information there is, but you can lead a horse to water, you can't make it drink.
No, you can't.
All you can do is make sure that they know that there's someone who cares. Make sure that I'm honest about my life, what I've been through, why I do what I do, because basically you're gonna get people that are gonna be like, oh, well, what the hell you know about this? You ain't never picked up, you ain't never used. And I tell them, you know what, I'm never gonna say I understand your pain, that I feel your pain, okay? Because your pain is your own.
That's right.
But I know the pain that I went through without ever having picked up a thing, without ever having had an addiction. I had that stigma thrown upon me. I was treated like I was one of them.
Because you were associated.
Right, but now guess what? Yeah, I am one of them. I am one of those people because they are my family. I love everyone in this community. So now when you're talking about them, guess what? You're talking about me,
So what is your position at Stairway?
So, like I said, I'm called an outreach coordinator.
Okay.
And like I said, it's meeting people where they are, bringing information in, bringing information out, and getting out and communicating with different people. So now when I do deal with what we like to call the bougies and bigwigs, but it's to get information, to make people aware of what it is that we do, to get information and get resources that I can bring back into the center, and to hopefully get people to see, what it is we do, and to meet members and meet certain people so that we can get rid of that stigmatic behavior. It's always going to be there. There's always going to be someone that has something to say or think a certain way, and that's in any place. That's with any community, it could be anything. There's always people willing to do this. But for them to realize that we have a community of good people and that we're human beings, okay? These are people that are struggling, that are suffering, and they're not animals. They're human beings. So it's to make them aware that, instead of sitting there talking all this smack and pointing fingers, learn about the disease, learn what it is, and help. If you want to see different, then help. Be there and show some love, show some compassion, and get that information out there and do what you can to help.
So when you came into Stairway and you met me and we did our interview and you started working there,
right?
You didn't have no idea what's it gonna be like, but you had a general idea, kind of.
Somewhat. Like I said, Todd, when I spoke to him, told me some about it. And a lot of the time when you talk to people, they always make these positions and stuff. They sugarcoat, so you're never sure of what you're gonna actually encounter. Right. But when I walked in the door, and I saw people joking around, I saw people talking, I saw groups going on. And I spoke to him. And then, like I said, going in to talk to you guys were awesome. You guys were incredible vibe. Really, it was a nice vibe, and it was nice being able to share. And without somebody looking like, oh, here we go. I don't want to, I don't want to hear you boo-hooing about, oh, my man's getting high, and I don't know what to do, and I'm depressed, but you guys understood, and you knew what I was going through, and you knew that with what I went through as an ally, you know, when you have people that are sitting there pointing fingers, I can go in there and be like, look, I never did a damn thing, and I suffered for it.
Right.
So if I can be in there and be a face that people can see, you know, at least get through to them first before they automatically look and be like, oh, that's an anecdote. But I'm there, I'm the first face they're gonna see, and that I can chat with people and get to know them without them telling me to shut up and roll their eyes. And I tell them, you know what, even if...
But that is incredible, though. It is incredible because a substance use disorder, it doesn't just affect the person that is in that substance use disorder. Not at all. It affects everybody around in that, like the family circle, your work.
Right.
All of a sudden, you got it, and it just starts to break apart on you, right? And then people are farther and farther away. You're drifting farther away. You're getting deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into your substance use disorder.
Right.
And some people, they have to actually physically hit rock bottom. And I even heard that even rock bottom has a bottom.
It does.
And that's what we're trying to avoid. The basics of this show, for all you out there, is to inform you, first and most, to tell you about Stairway, our crew, incredible crew. And all of us have been there looking for that help, but we didn't know where to go, and we had no idea, your pride got in the way, whatever it might have been. Somewhere, somehow, something's going to happen, and you're going to physically make that first step. But what we would really love to see is people trying to identify that they do have a substance use disorder, and before they hit rock bottom and get the possible help. As you know, as she was saying, she's an outreach coordinator, and she's all over the place. Along with all that, she works on events as well. I've seen her interact with our members and our staff, and our members really love her and respect her. The other thing she didn't let you know, she's bilingual, which is important.
Trilingual,
You're trilingual.
I speak Creole and Spanish.
Because some of our members, because actually Gandera is actually a Latino, it was started out as a Latino place to get help, but it grew amazingly. So if you think you can't speak good English or anything like that, come and see. We're going to get you to help. We're going to get somebody that will talk to you, somebody that you can communicate and get your story across.
Just make it through the door. That's all you got to do.
Now, Quetcy, I also know that you done really well in your job as well.
Yes.
Yeah, weren't you called the Rising Star at one time?
Yeah, that was an amazing feeling. I got so emotional when that happened. I remember they were doing the awards. I was there for a few months at the time because I had started out in December of last year. End of December.
Oh, so you've been here a year now?
It's going to be a year now, yeah.
Wow, went by fast, huh?
It did. And they were having some awards, so I hadn't realized. Todd invited me to go to this event that they were having, an awards event. And
where was it?
It was in Springfield.
Is that where the corporate office is?
Yeah, where the corporate office is. And we went to this event, and so I had no idea. I was like, oh, this is cool. I get to be around people, and I get a free meal, free food, and then you get to see all the different people and stuff. Right. So it was nice just to take a day trip, So, yeah, we took a ride out there, and I had been nominated for the Rising Star Award, which is basically for people that are newer to the company, but that are already making an impact. They feel are making an impact, or that are going places. And so I had gotten nominated, and next thing you know, they were calling my name, and I was just like, huh? Me? Awesome. Like little. So it was an amazing feeling, because to know that all the work that I had been putting in, because,
and that's not counting the impact that you had on our community.
Right, but I threw myself in head first with this. I went into it with all my heart, because like I said, it was my therapy. Yeah. It was my way to heal. So to be rewarded for something that I was doing, not just for my community, but that helped me, that I was taking care of myself, and to be recognized for that was, it was the
I
best.
can't imagine it.
Best feeling.
I'm trying to imagine and just trying to get a visual here.
Oh my God, it was so hard. I was going up there trying not to blubber.
I'm up there. I made a difference.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
I was walking on air. I was literally walking on air, and it just solidified what I already knew but needed to really feel. It just showed me. I was like, this is where I found my calling. Yeah. This is where I need to be. This is where I want to be. And I will always, and I can mean that whether it's Stairway, whether whatever, because Stairway is my home. I will always work in recovery. I'm always going to be there to try to do what I can to help out in this community and to let people know that their voices can be heard, that they are loved, that they are important.
And they didn't slip through the cracks.
And they're not, that there are people that care.
Yep.
That
Absolutely.
truly care. I tell them, I come with receipts. You know, walk in the door, you can't talk crap about a place you never checked out. You know, people always try to say this. There's people that, you know, think of it in positive and negative, but you can't say that until you've been through the door, and whether you're there for a minute, first time around or whatever, sooner or later, something's gonna catch. I don't care why you're coming through that door at first, but if it gives us a second, a chance to get in your ear, if it gives any of us there a chance, if it gives you a chance to walk in that door and see what it is and what we do, and to feel that positivity, because guess what, if you're sitting there in a gloomy, dark, damp spot
and isolating yourself,
and,
that's worse.
and you're gonna feel like crap. You walk into a place that's positive and you see people smiling and laughing and working on themselves, and you see people showing each other love and compassion, people that are struggling, but because they're feeling better, they want you to feel better, and they're gonna reach out. And the resources that Stairway has, it's incredible, because now I get to, like I said, I deal with all kinds of people. I learn, I get educated by this community and by the people, and then at the same time, we're able to help, whether it's with housing, whether it's something as simple as getting a job to bitch about, you know, being able to have a car, being able to have a place to live, or just a safe place for the night.
We actually, we have that, safe houses, halfway houses. We also have list of food pantries in that crisis with the government shutting down.
Right.
That was a panic. But what she said is very true. Our community, and anybody who's in the recovery community and struggling with your sobriety, trust and believe that there are people to be right beside you that will walk with you all the time. They'll walk with you. Like she said earlier, you can't lead a horse to water. There's no way. You got to want it.
Right.
And once you start doing the next right thing and the next right thing and the next right thing and the next right thing, all of a sudden, the next thing you know, you look back and go, wow, I just made an incredible impact like you have done to our community. That's where I'm getting at.
Right.
Our community makes a difference on our community. We help our community. Everybody in here, all the outside resources that we have, and that's not just that's counting the outside, but also not all, like she was just saying earlier, all the resources that we have in there. Like they always say, it takes a village to raise a child. I think you said that earlier, right?
Definitely. It's how I grew up.
In recovery, it takes a village to help somebody stay in recovery in the sobriety.
Right.
Anything else?
Yeah. So, it's just your time to speak, you know, to the camera. If there is somebody that is struggling with substance use and they're kind of on the fence, is there something you can, you know, say to kind of help them get to, not necessarily Stairway, but somewhere for help?
First off, what I definitely want to say is that it's not just Stairway. There are peer support centers everywhere. They all basically work on the same premise, where we all uplift each other and help each other. Know that this is a constant battle, and that if you're on the fence, that's fine. You know, we're not always ready. But sometimes even that little bit of curiosity or just knowing that when you are ready or you're thinking about it, come through the door and see and listen and give us a minute, give us a second, because all that time, even that little bit of time, just might be the time that will change your life. That one time, maybe that second time, that you make it through the doors, might be the time that you feel like you're ready, that you hear something that's going to catch with you. But just know that you are valued, you are loved, you are worthy, but it's up to you to love yourself and to show yourself and to know that you are worthy, to know that you are loved, to know that there is more to life. Because recovery isn't just about, staying off whatever poison that's destroying your life. It's not just about that. It's about getting your whole life back. It's about getting just the quote unquote normal things in life. So if you are thinking about it, if you think that maybe there's a possibility, come check us out. Come check out a center. Make a phone call. Just come through the doors and see what it's about and try. And like I said, and if it doesn't work the first time, you try again. When people talk about a lapse, it doesn't matter how long, or what you did. It doesn't matter. If you have a lapse, you get up and you try again.
Absolutely.
You learn from that. You don't lose all the work. The blood, the sweat, the tears that you put into staying okay is your time, it's your effort, and you can get that. And we are there just to help, just to show
Support
love,
you
and
as
to
well.
support you, and to support you.
And Quetcy said it right. The definition of recovery is to regain everything you lost in your substance use disorder. And it may be by block, piece by piece. And it might go slow for a while, but eventually you keep doing it over and over and over and over again, and it becomes repetitious, and it'll be just like a reflex. And then you keep practicing and keep building. And as she said, yes, at Stairway to Recovery, we meet you at the road where you're at. But the first initial step is you. It's what you want. It's you want to say, I want to change my life. I can't do this anymore. And you'll get there. Because I know I was down deep in that hole too. And that's what it took for me to actually realize what I really wanted in life. And with all that being said, any other?
Would you like to thank anybody?
I want to thank my community. I want to thank you. I want to thank Ricky. I want to thank Stairway. Particularly, I try not to get emotional, but particularly Todd. He saved my life. He saved my life, because I really don't know where I'd be right now. I don't think I'd be on this earth right now if it wasn't for that. So just know I love you. I love my community. And like I said, for those of you that think different, like I said, give us a try. I don't care. It could be anybody. If you have that stigmatic belief, then investigate. Check it out. Meet us. Call. Say hello. And best believe we will show you. And you will see. When, like I said, we have people like you guys. We have people like you, Patrick, and our members there that can show you that there is a better way. There is a better way.
There is life. There's a good life in recovery.
There is.
Ricky, what about you, my friend?
So I want to say thank you to Gandara and thank you to Stairway for allowing us this opportunity to have this podcast. Thank you, Quetcy, for coming on. It's always great talking.
Always a pleasure.
Absolutely.
Always.
Absolutely.
Patrick, thank you. And
Thank
let's
you,
continue
sir.
to make this happen.
Yep.
Let's just keep getting bigger and bigger, and let's elevate together.
And
That's right.
keep pouring that information out to our community, because that's the key.
Recover is possible. Together
Absolutely.
we can. Together we
And
can.
with all of that being said, 1, you got to love yourself. 2, you got to believe in yourself. Believe you can do it. Just believe. 3, Know that you're worthy of love. Sometimes we forget that in our substance use disorder because we have a tendency for us that are in substance use disorder to beat the living daylights out of us.
Yeah.
And we start to learn that that's not the way. And the last, whatever the obstacle is, wherever your recovery takes you, we're going to get you there. We're going to help you. But you, keep this in mind, you have got to do the initial work. And if you do, I guarantee it. I have seen it over and over again. That's the only reason why I couldn't guarantee it. But I have seen a lot of our members' success with recovery, getting their life back, getting their family back, getting their car back, getting their job back. Everything they had in the very beginning before the substance use disorder disease creeped up on them and took them. I always keep that in mind. Substance use disorder, it's a shadow, and I like the way AA says it. It's a shadow in the corner, just doing push-ups, just waiting for a mistake so it can control your life again. And that's what we learn not to let happen, for it to control our life again. So with all that, I want to thank, of course, our producer in there, Michelle.
Hey.
All right, she has an intern in there, I believe, too. Yep, this here today. Brockton Community Access for allowing us to even sit here and get this information out. And always my heart is at Stairway. The staff members, they're incredible. And our members are too. You want to talk about pain? I know people that are in recovery that go to AA and AMR and dual, and all those recoveries. You know the pain we talk about all the time. So let's do this. As a community, as a team, let's try to take that pain away, one recovery at a time.